If you run ads to a Shopify store, you need to see Qure Skincare's funnel. Qure Skincare might have just cracked the D2C formula. According to entrepreneur.com, this brand is on track to doing $50 million in revenue in just 3 years after launch. In this episode of The Funnel Show, watch us break down Qure Skincare's funnel to document their bundle offer strategy, their upsells, their abandonment flows, and the seasonal offers driving tens of millions in revenue from their Shopify store.
We dive deep into their advertising, their UGC, the SEO, retention strategy, emails, SMS, marketing, and so much more. Welcome to The Funnel Show, your inside look at what's working right now to scale funnels to 8 figures and beyond. Whether you're scaling funnels for your own brand or for your clients, join us as we learn from the top funnel operators in the arena today. Together, let's find the patterns of success, uncover what works, and learn how to scale fast. I'm John Denny.
And I'm Ethan Denny.
We're brothers and co-founders of ConvertFlow, which launches and optimizes funnels for high-performance brands. And here's the best part. Everything we learn about scaling funnels is going straight into our AI platform, so you can put it to work today. Follow our journey by hitting the subscribe button, and remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss new episodes.
Let's dive in.
In this episode, we're going to dive deep into Qure Skincare's funnel, which Ethan has got on the screen here. Ethan, if you could actually zoom into the backstory on Qure. Super interesting. The founder is Matt Orlick. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. He co-founded this, I believe, with his sister. So it's a sibling brand. Shout out to the sibling brands. But apparently he was doing lead generation at some coaching firm before. And he was just like grinding, doing sales and stuff. And then it says here, if you like go down that, like apparently they had a retailer client and they were all in on that. And the retailer like went under and they like lost millions of dollars in the process. And that's when Matt was like all in on digital, according to this entrepreneur.com article. Apparently he moved to Croatia and then his sister would send him skincare stuff with like notes on how to use the products and all that stuff. And like he was like all into biohacking and all that. And he started doing this whole like LED light panel thing that he bought in China. And these things were like $5,000. But he said it was like a light bulb moment, you know, so that way they can make that technology more accessible for people. And apparently that's how Qure Skincare was born, right? And apparently they're on track to do 50 million in revenue by the end of 2025. They're selling more than the LED light mask. They're doing like micro-infusion patches, face serums, shower filters, etc. So we have some revenue data here. Ethan, you want to dive into that?
So, I mean, as the article highlighted, it looks like they're on track to scale into 50 million a year in sales by the end of the year or the end of 2025. Now, the platform we use for tracking like sales and getting an estimate of how a brand is performing estimates that their sales are closer to 8.3 million for the year. Obviously, they're projecting here. So, yeah, these tools are not always like super accurate, but it kind of gives us
Shopify.
Right. That's just from Shopify. Maybe there's other channels involved. And these tools are not like the most accurate, but it kind of gives us an idea of like what their average price is, you know, estimated sales and like traffic. So we can get an idea more or less of like where that brand's at. But it looks like they're growing much faster and they're on track to doing 50 million in sales by the end of 2025.
So according to this here, their AOV seems to be about 136 USD, which is super interesting.
Yeah, well, that's like the average price of the products, but yeah, I think it is interesting here. Now, as you can see, we've documented the entire funnel from ads to UGC, all the different traffic sources that we could come across, where that traffic is driving people to, the dedicated like landing pages that they're driving traffic to, what happens after people click through on those landing pages. And then when people bounce, we've got email flows like the welcome flow, abandonment flows, and even some text messages that we'll be diving into. So we'll start here with ads, which they've got a ton of, and then we'll go through each step here. So one thing I noticed when looking at their ads is that they have a ton of ad creative. It looks like they test a lot of new ad creative almost every single week. So this is something a lot of brands are having to do in order to scale ads, in order to find winners that take off and that they can put a lot more budget behind. So looking at their ads here, you can see a few interesting things. One, they incorporate their 3 reasons why angle with some of their ads. Now, this angle is actually a little bit more interesting because it's 3 reasons why not to buy their microfusion and bundle. So let's see if they cover that here.
It's an interesting angle.
Yeah, I didn't actually get to watch this all the way through, but um, it is interesting. I think it's eye catching, and especially if you're always seeing ad creative that is telling you why you should buy a product. An angle that tells you why not to buy a product is like an anti hook. In order to get people in.
Very cool.
They also have like comparison photos and a lot of their different ad creative. You'll notice here that they're doing a end of summer sale. So a lot of the funnel that we're going to be breaking down are for their holiday sales that focus on this micro infusion product bundle. So here you can see for their summer sale or end of summer sale, they're doing up to 70% off a 6-month supply, and they reinforce that offer in their a lot of their ad creative here. Okay.
This is interesting. This one hook is like, why Cure owes me an apology. So I think they're trying to use some spicy hooks here.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. We need to go through and watch all of these through. But definitely, this kind of stuff like would grab attention. Here, for example, they're using ad creative that sells the outcome that people want, right? And, highlighting that it's a 5-minute at home treatment, right? So, in comparison to something that might take a lot longer by going to a clinic or doing a lot longer treatment at home, they're promising something that is much faster.
Yeah,
So,
from what I saw so far, I found it very interesting how they're positioning their products like against services and against like cheaper skincare. They're finding like a nice balance there. So we'll actually dive a bit into their pricing strategy.
yeah, absolutely. And we'll cover that they highlight it more on their landing page. Um, Again, they're promoting their summer sale here, uh, more before and after photos, and a little bit of copy that illustrates like what the product is and what's involved here. This might be like, I imagine these will be targeting ads, possibly. Okay. We also covered some UGC. So, John, you dove into this a little bit. What did you find?
Yeah, so I found it super interesting. On the left side, you'll see their actual Instagram Reels grid, right? And this is the content that they have approved, and from users. They're obviously incentivizing a bunch of UGC, but they're taking these and posting them to the profile. Some of them are hooking quite well. That means that if you see a lot of views, like this one with the plastic surgeon has got 200,000 views, that they're boosting it. I bet that's like a whitelisted ad with the influencer, and so on. So it appears though that they're taking these and boosting them, but the UGC that they really like, they take that and they turn into creative with like nice little animations and text and stuff like that for their actual ads. That's what we were seeing in Foreplay. Now on the right side, you'll see all the posts that they've been tagged in, and there's definitely some incentives here for users of the product to post to Instagram. And you see these aren't getting that many views, so people are trying. So I'm sure that when one hooks, they're taking that and whitelisting it on the actual profile grid. So that's super interesting. We'll actually dive a little bit into their loyalty and referral program that they're using, which is pretty interesting as well.
They also work with like influencers in the space. These people run a popular YouTube channel. I say these people because I think there's two of them. But you'll see that this person's, promoting their bundle, even links out to the offer. So I imagine they put ad budget behind this as well.
Now, it's also very interesting their search engine marketing game. So if you scroll down, Ethan, we've got the organic search here. You'll see here that they do have some rankings here that are working in their favor. It's mostly branded rankings: Cure LED Mask, Cure Skincare, Cure, et cetera, et cetera. However, you'll notice that there's some unbranded ones like LED Face Mask. Let's see here, micro infusion. That seems super high intent. Micro infusion facial, and so on. So they're definitely catching some organic unbranded search, but it's mostly branded search, which just goes to show how effective their demand generation is. Because each of these branded keywords are getting hundreds of, in sometimes even thousands in Ahrefs, and Ahrefs doesn't show all the traffic. They have very minimal insight into traffic, which means there's a lot more volume to their branded keywords. Now, if you scroll down to page search,
Really quick, I wanted to highlight before we move forward. You'll notice that a lot of these pages that they're ranking on are landing pages. So on Shopify, for example, it uses that pages/pages structure. So a lot of these are landing pages instead of straight PDPs, which I imagine is converting better for them from that search traffic.
that is a super interesting thing. I didn't realize that. Nice. Okay, let's go on down to the paid keywords. So it looks like we have Qure microinfusion reviews. So they're running on those. These look like kind of broad match keywords that are showing up in Ahrefs here, that they're running their ads on. And you'll notice that the URLs are actually to like sales. So like exclusive holiday bundle deal and so on, right? Bestsellers is also something that they run as an ad. They run it to the collection, which is interesting. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. But if you actually scroll down, you actually see some of the ads. So you notice the text here is like biggest sale of the year, and so on. Save up to 55% and all that, because they know that this is mostly branded search that they're capturing. So they're trying to convert it into sales right there with their paid search marketing.
Yep. I bet a lot of people see them on social and then go search up Qure Skincare or Qure LED light or the microinfusion.
Nice.
Okay. So, yeah, so we've got paid search, organic search, UGC, and paid ads. As you can see, they're driving traffic from multiple sources here. And from their ad creative, as well as like you'll see from some of their organic search and I imagine their paid search, they're driving people to the Qure Microfusion offer, which is what we're covering here. So if we look over here, yeah, I believe this is the microinfusion offer. And yep, actually we can see the URL right here. So Qure microinfusion offer. Great. Yeah, so this offer landing page we've documented across multiple holidays. So you'll see a couple changes throughout like the desktop version or the mobile version. And I think it's actually useful because you can see how they're testing different offers, how they're like personalizing this page or adapting it for different offers. So not all the creative on the page is going to match up exactly, but I think it actually gives you a better idea of like, how this brand is thinking about offers throughout the year and, continuing to optimize the same page here. So what you'll notice on this landing page is that they've got a banner or sticky bar right up at the top with the offer. Save up to 59% here. Again, by the time that we were looking at it, later on in the year for their summer sale, they were doing 70% off their microinfusion products. So you'll see that highlighted there. They also include the offer in a button in their nav bar, which I think is really smart because regardless of where you are across the store, you can see the leading offer they're driving traffic to. And that page that link takes you to this page as well.
You'll notice that the navigation on these landing pages is extremely stripped down. It's not the regular store kind of product catalog navigation or Shopify store navigation. These look like anchor links to the benefits, results, FAQs on the landing page, but they do make that card available, which is pretty smart.
Yeah. Looking at it on mobile, so they lead with the hero image and the product, right? And they've got some social proof regarding the awards here. They've got a strong headline, and also they highlight a lot of social proof with the number of users that have reviewed this product. And also within the top fold, I think it's important to highlight, if you're looking at this on a mobile device, within the top fold, that end of summer sale, 70% off button shows, which is important, I think, for hooking people and keeping them on the page.
Definitely message match with the ads. One thing I wanted to highlight here is on the mobile version, you'll see their bullet points. They use little bold text in the bullet points. Why do they do that? Well, designers probably think it looks really ugly, but it probably works super well. And this is because I think shoppers, they tend to just kind of see a page. They don't really read the page. They just kind of see it, with their peripherals. and things like that stick out, right? So if you can like just glance through the page and get the message, that's going to be much better than if you have to like read through it, with a comb.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And people are scanning as they're scrolling through a page, and I don't know that they're reading every line. So I agree. Like having a couple of these words that are like keywords bolded, is something that people kind of catch on as they're scrolling through the page.
If you read it, just like imagine like your subconscious is just reading it. It goes transforms dull looking skin, easy, customized, visible results, no downtime, painless. It's like that's the main message that they want you to get while looking at these bullet points.
Yep, exactly. I like also that they've got a button here to see how it works, and it links to a video. You can see what that looks like on desktop. And also that they have these little navigational links to jumping to different points on the page. It gives you a little bit of a preview of what to expect on the page as well, which might actually drive more of more scrolling throughout the page,
I
just to
actually
get that
think it's
sense
for
of completion.
SEO. Like you actually
Possibly,
highlighted
yeah,
how these landing pages are ranking. And I think Google really loves these kind of anchor links that make the page
right.
feel like
How to
robust.
use, yeah, FAQs. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good point. So I think it serves 2 points then, if it also benefits the SEO of the page as well as, like, the UX.
I
It's a
want to
nice addition.
highlight on the desktop version of this product hero, you'll see that there's tabs between the product imagery and the before and after imagery, which I think is pretty interesting because some people may be more interested in the product if they're further along in the customer awareness ladder, while like if someone's more concerned about like what kind of results microinfusion even has to offer, they could click to see before and afters.
Yeah, very cool. Um, on the mobile version, they lead with social proof here, so they've got a nice testimonial or quote, different, art like media or publishers that have featured them, press logos. I think they've got a video here. Let's see what that looks like. This might be a video possibly on an actual, landing page. We have this documented in Figma, so I'm not sure if this is a
Yeah,
video or
it's like a
not.
snapshot, so it's not moving. But yeah,
Yeah. But you can see, what that would look like on mobile. This also looks really nice where they've got like their stats, and their stats are like social proof, which is really cool for
nice.
this section here.
So it's saying like, 90% agreed to the skin looking better, 70% the fine lines look smoother, and so on.
Yeah.
On desktop, it's interesting because, yeah, it shows there on desktop, yeah, as well.
Yeah. Again, these pages were captured at different times. So here they're like actually communicating the offer and that call to action button, while on this one they're just have a call to action to shop now. And I think that drives people to the buy section of the page. Okay, scrolling through here, there's some comparison sections where you can see the before and after, and you can scroll through and see, or swipe through and see like different customers. If we look at the desktop version, you can see what that looks like here. So there's the before and after from different customers.
So on the mobile version of that, I think it's really important to let the shopper know by implying that you could swipe left and right. Because a lot of times people don't know that you can swipe left and right. People are used to scrolling up and down, swiping up and down on TikTok and Instagram and this and that kind of side scrolling stuff. I think the way to improve the user experience here is to have the next before and after slightly cut off, so that way it's clear. Okay, if I swipe right, I'll get the next before and after.
Hmm. Right, like the next card or box, right?
Yeah, it could go all the way to the edge of the screen and then be slightly cut off. That
They
way the shopper knows.
they do like show these little like indicators here, but ideally like the content would show on the right side as well, so people would know, just like products like on Amazon, that you would just keep swiping to see more.
They actually do this quite well right below
Nice.
in their video testimonials. You'll see the second one is slightly cut off, implying you can scroll sideways. And you'll notice here it says next and previous instead of arrows. Most designers are going to design it with arrows because they think that looks pretty. But the problem is that most shoppers may not even realize that's there. So they just have a nice next and previous label. Not the best looking, but it works.
Now let's see this section. All right, we'll scroll up here a little bit. The section on desktop, you can see what that looks like here. And then they have like a how it works section here where they're kind of going into details first of how the product works and 2 points. And then I love this section here where they're incorporating 5 reasons why, which, a lot of brands will run traffic directly to like a listicle or advertorial where they're able to cover those reasons why people like their product. They've actually incorporated that as a section in their landing page. Let's see if they've got that on their, they do have it on their mobile version as well. And it's well done.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's not too wordy, but it definitely delivers the 5 reasons why in like a glanceable way.
Yeah. Also, I love the visuals and that all this whole section fits in one fold, and that you've got the bolding here for the key terms that they want people to focus on.
If you actually go to the desktop version, they have a different social proof section because this was captured at a different time. So they use these dermatologist guys here that I've actually seen them a lot on Instagram. They're pretty popular. So they actually use them. They use an influencer review for the social proof, but then they have a bunch of other creators and their videos linked right there below as well.
Yeah. So here's that mobile version. You can swipe through those, and then they've got
Dermatologists.
social proof here. And look at all of these different reviews that you could potentially go through.
The more the merrier.
Now, if you keep scrolling on mobile, you'll see that they have this comparison table comparing their product to alternatives. I'm going to look at this on desktop just because it's laid out, nicer and it's easier to see here.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Yeah, so very interesting how they're like positioning this against clinic. Basically going to the clinic. They're saying give yourself a clinic quality glow up without the clinic prices. So their alternatives are either going to the clinic in person or doing like an at-home treatment, right? And they highlight some of the different like pros and cons of doing these different alternatives, right? So if you go to a clinic, you might see results in as little as 1 to 2 days. But if you do an at-home treatment, you might see results in a few days, right? And what they're achieving here with their system that they're like highlighting is that it's one, a fast, you get results quickly, just like you would at a clinic, but it costs a lot less than going to the clinic, right? So
Yeah.
it's like a combination of the two.
I love this section. I think this is my favorite section on this landing page. This goes to show that this brand understand how to build a good product, and they're actually doing the hard work of building a good product. Something that can't say the same about a lot of DTC brands, because here what they're doing is they're understanding what is the service that their customers are having to dish out a lot of cash to do. They're saying that these infusion clinic treatments are $300 per treatment. So that means their customers are showing up, they're driving in traffic, going to the clinic to pay $300 to get similar results to what you could get for $20 per treatment with their microinfusion system
At home.
at home. Yeah. So I think that's a brilliant thing. And then also, just for good measure, they throw in the comparison with the derma roller, which I guess they see as an alternative, but they see it as a lesser alternative. So it's $10 per treatment. Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper, but you're not going to get the results. It's not customized to you. There's probably side effects and all that. So they go ahead and attack those comparisons right up front. And I think this is because they care probably more about LTV and retention than just optimizing for first order. They're thinking about the shopper's logical decision around the cost per treatment.
That's an interesting point. Okay. Here, they go deeper on the comparison to a roller and I guess the pros and cons, the pros of their system versus the cons of using a roller. Let's see if they've got that same section on mobile. They do.
Looks like they do. This is definitely like speaking to the more price sensitive customer that's thinking like, oh, well, I was considering doing a roller, or I have been doing a roller for a long time. Why should I upgrade?
Again, this is another like strong mobile design where they've got the comparison images all in one section here instead of them dropping down. And then same thing with these points. They're side by side on mobile. This is not easy to do on mobile devices, because you don't have as much space to do side by side comparisons. And so the way that they've done this here, it looks really good for mobile still.
I'd even argue that a lot of designers would think this looks bad, but from a direct response perspective, it looks really good. They're fitting a lot of useful information in a way that like your brain can consume, despite it maybe being a little bit cluttered, but it's probably really effective. And their stats definitely prove that.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the page live, it's going to look better than what I've got here in Figma. The way we import this, sometimes things get a little distorted. So I imagine it looks even better on the live page. I think this section is really good too because they're highlighting like the commitment you have to make, which is 5 minutes total every 2 to 4 weeks. For someone who wants the outcome of their product, which is like better skincare, and doesn't want to invest a ton of time, like this is an important point. And by being able to swipe through the different steps here, I think that helps people feel a lot more confident in what the process is going to be, what they can expect once they purchase this product, which is going to increase their conversion rate.
I think they could have this better mobile optimized, perhaps like by pulling the 1, 2, 3 step process up to the top and then saying like, here's how it works. Because if you actually look on desktop, they do a really good job at visualizing that, and the thought process makes more sense than how they have it on mobile.
Mm,
But if you pull it, look at it on desktop,
yeah, we're looking at it here.
they've got steps 1 through 3 clearly visible. They're
Yeah.
saying it takes 5 minutes, and so on. And the video on the left, it's kind of on the margins of the main message, which is like, here's how it works.
Yeah, they should probably like take this section, bring this up here, and then bring the video down possibly. Or, maybe they cover the same points in the video and they're expecting most people to click through on the video. I just think, yeah, if they can highlight the step 1, step 2, step 3.
I think it's best to assume that people are not going to double click into things. So like lead with what they can scroll and glance. And then if they do double click into that video, awesome. You have a hotter, more a nurtured buyer, right? But you can't count on it.
Right. Okay. So then we would suggest going vertical with this instead of swiping.
Yeah. Make it clear. Here's how it works. 1, 2, 3. Let the page be long. We
Yeah.
like long pages. Long pages convert, right? A lot of times designers say like, this is too long, right? Well, there's a reason why some of the best converting things are super long. It's because if someone wants to keep scrolling and they need more information and they're on the fence, let them keep scrolling until something finally works. Then that call to action is going to drive them through to checkout.
And when you say convert, I think it's more like they sell, especially in the case of like selling products. Maybe your revenue per visitor or per session might be higher. The conversion rate could be potentially higher with a shorter page, but it doesn't mean that the conversion rates through the rest of the funnel are going to be as high, right? So, yeah, I agree. Like if you're going to sell a product and you're providing the information people need to make a purchasing decision, uh, you know, providing the adequate amount of information they need in order to make that buying decision is more helpful than just reducing the information just so that, you have a pretty page or just so that, it doesn't feel too long.
Yeah, why do long pages? Like, I have a little rant here. It's like, I think too many brands optimize for conversion rate. We run ConvertFlow, and I do not like the conversion rate KPI. I think it's a misleading KPI. The earlier you go into your buyer's journey, the lower your conversion rate is going to be, and yet the higher the order volume is going to be. So you want to optimize for like total revenue, right? And I think like landing pages like this are clearly designed to sell something that gets a higher average order value. So they're willing to say, hey, we'll have a lower conversion rate because maybe this is longer, or maybe it's a little bit more information dense, but they know that it drives more revenue. So they optimize for higher order value and more revenue and not just for the conversion rate.
So, when brands are scaling up their ads, once they start going past, I guess, what Meta considers like their early adopter market, and starts expanding into new audiences that are maybe lookalike audiences or beyond. And the CPA, from what I understand, will go up, right? And you're going to want to optimize around, your order value and LTV in order to keep up with that ad spend and that CPA.
This is the difference between just capturing demand, which like a lot of brands are doing with their ads, and generating demand. This brand is running landing pages and ads that generate demand, that take people that probably were never going to buy into a buyer within a quick 5-minute page scroll?
This section here is also really strong. One, they've got some urgency built in throughout the page here. And then also, they've got strong visuals side by side here. They're summarizing like the main points and then have a good call to action to take advantage of the offer. And a couple other things you'll notice is that they have some risk reversal or just some other compelling reasons to buy. One, they've got the 90-day money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, you can get your money back. And then also they're offering free worldwide shipping for orders over $100. So I think they're also priming you here to spend over $100. So it's a good section.
I would put those 90-day money back guarantees and free shipping, little bullet point icon things. I'd put them everywhere. Every single button, I'd probably have that under. I know it's redundant, but when you're thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy 70% off, and you see that and it's like, okay, well, if I don't like it, I'll get my money back. And I know I don't have to pay for the shipping, let people know at the time that they're going to click through to the call to action to buy, right? And if you can put it into the checkout or the cart, even better.
So let me see how this looks on desktop, but I like how they're breaking up these page sections with copy that introduces the next section. So let's see what this looks like here. All right, so they're doing it on desktop as well, which is cool. Here they're highlighting like the two different products that they're offering, and it's, you have one for one use case or one for another use case. And then they're presenting the challenge of like, well, if you don't want just this outcome or just this outcome, if you can't decide, get the most out of both, right? So here they're like, exactly, here they're like, getting ready to pitch their bundle. And then they're reducing, one sec here. Oh,
yep, they're heavily selling that bundle.
Yeah, they're selling the bundle and they're reducing risk on mobile. They've got this section here where they're introducing that product, and then they introduce a second product. And it doesn't look like they've got that final section, but they've got their risk reversal section here. Okay, so you can choose your treatment options. So this is going into their buy section. On mobile, it looks really good. I'll highlight what it looks like on desktop in just a second, but you'll see by default, they've got the bundle selected. So you can either select one product or this other product or select the bundle. They obviously want you to go for the bundle, so they've got that pre-selected. They also have their 6-month supply pre-selected. John, anything else you want to highlight here that looks really good or that could help drive sales?
So if you scroll up just a little bit to those tabs on step 1 of the process, scroll up. There you go. Yeah, choose your serum. So I think this is really smart. I think it embodies their entire strategy. You could tell that like they've probably started with selling the product that maybe just addresses for dark spots, or the product that addresses wrinkles, right? But in this case, they're defaulting to selling a bundle that addresses both wrinkles and dark spots. So they're going for the higher order value sale right off the bat. In this case, they're also selling a 6-month supply. So it's $219 and it's automatically selected. Right? Now, I think on the desktop version, because we captured it on a different month, you'll actually see that instead of offering a 6-month supply, they're offering a 3-month supply. So let's pull that up here.
Yep.
Yeah. So it looks like year round, their special offer is, and it also it's defaulting to the dark spots, which is what I was talking about earlier, right? So in this case, they're using an upsell approach. They're saying, start with this, but you could buy more and all. But during their holiday sale, which is the landing page, the mobile landing page that we captured on the right, you actually see that they're going right for the full order value that they want, which is a 6-month supply with that addresses both wrinkles and dark spots. So I really like that they go right for the higher order value right off the bat during the holiday, because they know they have all of that demand to capture.
Yeah, no, this is presented really well. I wanted to highlight for the desktop version where they're offering the 3 months. They actually use a upsell pop-up once you add to cart that offers another 3 months. So they're still trying to get, I think, a similar order value as what they've got baked in here, but they're doing it through multiple steps, like you add to cart first, and then you see an upsell pop up after. Here, it looks like they've got it all baked into this one buy box.
It's more of a downsell approach for their summer sale. Now, there's something else I want to highlight here that's super important. It says that there's 159 kits left. This is brilliant. This means that they know they have limited supply, and they're letting shoppers know that they have limited supply. This creates scarcity and a sense of urgency, and I bet that converts super well for them.
I also like how they're showing the cost per treatment. So there's like the discount that you're getting, and then you can see how that impacts you as a consumer or the customer. Your cost per treatment goes down, right? So if you go with a 3-month supply, the cost per treatment is higher. If you go with the 6-month supply, the cost per treatment is lower. I also like how they're highlighting, they're crossing out the original price and showing you the new price. It's a steep discount that they're offering on that 6-month supply bundle. So I imagine this probably converts quite well.
You'll notice there that the 1 month supply it's only for 2 treatments, $20. It's like $60 a treatment. So it's just like a throwaway at that point. But they have it there as a pricing frame of reference.
Also, the way they include the discount label here is really nice. Okay, when it comes to the payment options, it's great that they give 2 different options here. So you can either pay in full, or you can use Klarna or one of the other sort of financing tools or financing platforms to finance the payment, and pay like interest-free payments over a certain number of months. So this is great, for someone who's a little bit more budget conscious and can't spend that full amount, but wants the 6-month supply, they still have a path to purchasing that, or they can pay in full.
I wanted to highlight like most brands just kind of rely on like these add-ons to like the Shopify checkout and just it's showing there. But first of all, that assumes that the shopper ever gets to the checkout. Working it into the landing page or the sales page, I think is a huge add in terms of improving sales. Also, they've got this nice big like thumb friendly tab, set up there where you could either choose to pay in full or you can, finance it, right? And that changes the button below. I think that's really smart that they make it a part of their actual build your bundle, 3-step process there. One thing to highlight again, below their big buy now button, they've got that money back guarantee. They've got the free shipping, and they even added dermatologist approved. So these they're addressing objections right there, right when you're going to buy. It's brilliant. They totally understand what makes their customers tick.
They also give you the ability to chat with them if you need to. So if you have any questions before purchasing, they've got a link to address that objection that people may have of, if they don't have all their questions answered, they've got a path to talk with someone and get those answered.
Most brands, they'll just have like this little chat bubble, right? And like, I think shoppers, we become blind to that type of stuff. So we don't even know. We think that could be some AI chat that you're going to put us into, right? But if you, add that link right to the point where we're thinking about buying and we do have a question and those objection bullet points right above didn't address that objection, that's the point where we click through to chat.
Yep. This next section here, let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. This is good too, because they're like showing that there's guidelines for using their product. Obviously, they don't want refunds and they want to set proper expectations. So this section, I think is good, and it also like helps the customer feel more confident in buying from them. They also have a pretty good FAQ section.
On desktop, you'll see that while they do have the green do bullet points, they also have the red don't bullet points.
Right. And so on mobile, you have to swipe to see that. With the FAQs, you can see that they're answering a lot of the questions that the customer would probably be thinking about. For example, when will they see results? Is it painful? Does it hurt? Can you use it around the eyes and neck? How often can you do the treatment? So typical questions that they may, want to ask someone or through chat or something like that. They're already like answering here through their FAQ. So pretty strong.
I bet that they have some experience in retail with selling this stuff, and that's where they're getting inspiration for their FAQ.
Yeah, or just talking to customers, I imagine as well, through chat and things. I like this final section here because they've got more social proof, and they show that 30,000 plus other people have I guess, purchase their products. So for anyone who's like on the fence, knowing that 30,000 plus other people have already done it would probably make you feel a little bit more comfortable buying from them. If we look on desktop, they've got that section, and then they have another call to action section here, which is really cool. John, it looks like you've got something you want to highlight here.
They have this progress bar that's based off the inventory, the quantity that they have left. That's super cool. We actually don't even support this in Convertflow. We have to add this because I think that works super well, especially for like a special sale.
No, I think it's a great visualization here.
So
Creates urgency.
they go really hard on all the social proof. There's just so much social proof. It's kind of redundant, but I think it works so well. You know why? You know that this is not some drop shipped product, right? They're just showering you with testimonials and dermatologist reviews and all that stuff. There's no way that this could be some drop ship product with all those customers raving about it.
Yeah, it really, I mean, it does look like a system that, you know, you could, that's comparable, like a good solution comparable to, you know, I guess going to a clinic. I'm not exactly the target market for this, but I imagine, you know, this, they're presenting this in a way that, you know, the target market would consider this a strong alternative. All right. So going from the landing page, if you click add to cart or you click to purchase, if you're on an earlier version of this page, as we saw here, where they were highlighting the 3-month supply.
That's the year-round sale.
From what we've seen, yeah. And then during their summer sale, they were going with the 6-month supply. If you did click on this 3-month supply, added that to cart, you're going to see this upsell pop up here. Let's look at it on mobile. Yeah, so this upsell pop up here gives you the ability to add 3 extra months and save. And again, you can see this has a strong design. They're showing you what's included. They have a pretty good image for the whole bundle, and they highlight the discount here, how much you're saving. Nice, clear call to action button to add and save 66%. I think in call to action button copy, so many brands miss out on the opportunity to make it convert better because they just say shop now or add to cart. If you can communicate the value that someone's going to receive, or if there's some sort of discount or incentive, you know, working that into the copy, your call to action button is going to convert better. And they do a great job at doing that here.
Also, like, this is a cart upsell pop-up. Like, it fully commands your attention. You can do nothing else but click to accept the pop-up of the upsell or click no thanks. And I think a lot of times, like, when brands think in terms of upsells and cross sells, they kind of just delegate the responsibility to like a cart drawer, which has a lot of like very intricate high fidelity UI that you can barely even navigate with your thumb. You know, it's probably going to work better if you just give people a big fat pop-up with a big fat button and very clear upsells that you could just click through without having to think too much or not having to zoom and scroll through a cart drawer and so on.
Once you've added that to cart, you'll see here what happens. So they do have that cart drawer or slide out cart. Their desktop design for this is really interesting because
wow,
they highlight like additional products that, you know, would complement your order here on the left. So John, you've got a comment here.
Yeah, well, I think this is a perfect example of just how little information can be delivered in like a cross sell feed in a cart drawer, right? I think it's great that they go from this big pop up to the cart drawer. So they do give you that chance to add, you know, any like relevant adjacent product that they have, right? But it still has less information. If you look at the cart upsell on the left side, I think it's actually a really good comparison and how to like visualize upsells. Go to the cart upsell pop up to the left. They have space to demonstrate the offer badge and slash the prices and add the bullet points and all of that.
Yeah. Another thing here on this step is most brands now looking at this design, you know, totally waste this left side of the screen where the slide out cart comes out. So, you know, this Qure brand being able to use this to introduce complementary items and present them in the context of achieving, you know, the customer's goals faster, I think is great. Now on the right side, you'll see that they've got some milestone rewards. So as you're moving through adding different products to cart, here you have like a discount. Sorry, you've got some incentive. I believe it's free shipping for products, orders, art value, sorry, over $100. And then if you get $400 in the cart, if you add $400, then you're going to get a free face serum.
For 79 bucks, they make it really clear. I think it's super smart. You'll notice here that like on their sales page, they promoted free shipping everywhere. And it's because they knew that you were going to spend a minimum of $100, right? But if you spend less than $100, you don't get free shipping. Their cart drawer here kind of reveals their cart milestones, which is really insightful. But I think this also highlights the benefit of like bundling and creating landing pages to sell those bundles where people can just add to cart with their, with one click without having to like add a bunch of separate products to cart to be able to get to that free shipping point. It simplifies it and it's much better at selling.
One other thing I want to highlight here is how they say that certain products are in stock and are shipped within 2 days. So for someone who's excited about making their purchase, knowing that they're going to get additional products faster, I think probably makes them excited about adding those additional products to cart.
It looks here like they're using this secure ship toggle to protect the package. It's just a $2.80 incremental upsell. But I think it's really smart that they add that. And anyone who does that is going to feel much better.
Yep. You can see what this looks like on a mobile design. So they've got their cart offer progress bar here. Items that you have in the cart and your cross sells.
So I think it looks great, but I think it's also a great example of why that cart upsell pop up before is so much easier for someone to navigate with their thumbs, right? And if you go back to the cart drawer, you'll see that like to be able to increase the quantity and all to 3 months or something like that, you would have to like very precisely click with your thumb. It's not or your index finger. It's not easy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a stronger design here.
I don't think cart drawers are designed for mobile. They may look good on mobile, but their UI is too high fidelity for mobile, in my opinion.
So checkout is your standard Shopify checkout. They do have like some extension here for showing a comparison, a before and after photo.
It looks like they're using checkout blocks or something like that here to add some content, which is awesome. Checkout blocks is pretty sure it's a free Shopify app that you could add info to your checkout.
Yeah, I think Shopify acquired them. Cool. So pretty standard checkout. Now, what happens when you land on this? So one other thing that happens on this landing page here is that if you've been on this page for a certain amount of time, I think almost immediately, you're going to see this subscribe pop up. So this welcome offer here shows the discount, which is 70% off. This is actually not correct here. It was 70% off. And super cool that they also include a countdown timer in this pop-up.
Yeah, I think this pop-up's got a lot of stuff to learn from here. So one, it clearly changes for their calendar. So it's the end of summer sale. They make that, very clear. So they actually are changing the pop-up throughout the year for their different sales. They've got the countdown timer in respect to the expiration of that sale. Also here, you'll notice that they've got this survey. So we've found in our tests with a lot of brands that having a survey at the beginning of a welcome pop-up works super well. It also gives you some zero-party data to segment subscribers into the right flows or perhaps show best sellers at the end of the pop-up. So it's really good to use a survey, test it, and see if it ends up converting higher than just having a button or a form that may feel like a larger commitment than this, very low commitment answer to a survey question.
Exactly. After you click one of these options, then you're taken to the email capture step where they're positioning it as entering the sale. From there, you go to the phone number capture step. And what I like about this here is instead of saying continue or subscribe or using kind of generic copy like that, they're reiterating the value of getting 70% off. So that's tied to the offer that they're promoting. I imagine they update this for additional offers or other holiday offers. But I think that's going to create much more of an incentive to enter your phone number rather than continue or subscribe.
Now, you'll notice here, after you opt in, they do something that I think is brilliant. I think most brands should be doing this. They're not doing this. It's a complete missed opportunity with a pop up to not keep the shopper flowing into the next step, which is your target offer, right? In this case, they're selling this micro infusion system. You opted in, you can get up to 70% off. So rather than just like giving you a discount code and you closing out the pop up and then having to navigate the store to find where that micro infusion system is, what they do is they tell you it's going to be 70% off. Here's how much time you have. Click the button and you could go buy it from there. The discount is probably automatically applied, maybe because they've already built it into the bundling, an automated discount for that bundle during the sale. Or maybe the button automatically applies a discount. The shopper shouldn't have to copy and paste discount codes and figure that out on their phone. If you're trying to sell a bundle with a clear incentive that you're marketing.
I agree. It should be auto applied at checkout. Great. Yeah, that's their subscribe pop up that shows up on the landing page. So we just saw, the way they drive traffic to their core offer, how they increase average order value with the upsell pop ups, and then how they continue to build up the order value through cross selling, and how they're trying to increase the checkout rate with some before and after comparisons and reducing friction on that step.
Guys, this is truly a masterclass in funnels right here. I just want to highlight, zoom out here, just all that's going on, all the work that they've put into this to make all of these things fire on all cylinders. They've done an awesome job. Everyone should be modeling this funnel. I think it's a perfect example of how to do it. But we still need to cover their emails and their SMS, right?
Exactly. So if you were to abandon, there's two flows that we've covered here. One is the welcome flow, and then two is the summer sale abandonment flow. We'll go through the welcome flow really quick, just because it's a few steps. I think it's a total of, it's like for 10 days, I think.
They hit you hard with emails. And I think this goes to show what is really possible with email marketing that shoppers are open to during that window where they are interested in buying. If you have a good product and you are interested in buying, you can send a lot more email than you think.
So the first email they send in their welcome flow, I think they do such a good job here because one, they're introducing you to their community, and they have a fun spin on their the way they weave in their brand into terminology within their community. So, for example, they call it the Skin IQ Club. So, you're being intelligent about how you approach your skincare, and then they start working in their Q from their Qure, brand name into loyalty coins spelled with a Q.
Wow.
And so everything is branded and is just makes you feel like being part of their community, which I think they're doing a great job here with. The other thing is that they're gamifying some of the incentives here to either purchase or refer, I think. Or sorry, not just refer, but to take certain steps here, which is like engaging with their social media accounts or even submitting before and after photos in order to get coins. So this is really smart.
That is exactly how they're incentivizing all that UGC that we saw on the front end. We're like, wow, look at all these people that are posting and they're trying to post and tag the brand. Why? Right? Well, it's because they were getting these Q coins. and, I looked into it just now. I did a quick look up to see how they're doing it. It looks like they're using a Shopify app called Stamped. So, which helps with loyalty. Shout out to Stamp. Awesome work here. This is a great example of an implementation of loyalty.
Yeah, check out this section here. It says, share the glow and get rewarded. Spread the word and earn big. When you refer a friend, they'll get 10% off their first purchase and you'll score 150 loyalty points once they check out. So yeah, they're definitely driving the referral side of their business, right? With points and double-sided referral programs. Here they, highlighting how many coins or loyalty points you can earn by purchasing different products, which is kind of cool, or how many coins it takes in order to get, a certain product. So I guess if you have 400 coins, you get this all-in-one face serum. These are all the different things that you can purchase with 400 coins. Pretty cool. All right.
Nice.
Really nice welcome email. One last thing is you see that it's signed off by Ava. Do you know if Ava's one of the founders?
I don't know, but I think it's really smart that they have this kind of personal signature at the end. So many brands, they just kind of market like it's coming from the brand, and it's like no one cares. Like what they care about is people that they follow, right? And especially with like email and social media, like we follow people. So I think it's really smart that they sign it with Ava. I don't know if it really helps, but I think it's a nice touch.
Yeah. You can see what it looks like on desktop. So similar design, their mobile design as well done as well. Um, Now, in this welcome flow, I think I already added something to cart so we can see their standard abandoned cart emails. It shows what items we had in the cart here, has some copy, and then starts going into highlighting some of the main points that they cover on their landing page. They've got before and after comparison photos, they've got social proof,
They basically reiterate all of those, benefits and features that they have on their landing pages. They do it in their emails.
right? The free shipping worldwide, all these different things. So very nice.
And this is 1 hour after you abandon, by the way, on the first day. So if you had opted in for that pop-up, and you'd added to cart, you would have been hit with both of these emails.
Yep. You can see the way it looks on mobile. Well done.
Very well done.
I think after 12 hours, either 4 or 12 hours, they had a different cadence. I noticed with their emails. But basically, later that day, you're getting a similar email. I imagine they're trying to catch like the morning crowd that opens emails and then the afternoon crowd that opens emails.
Makes
So
sense.
they've got a pretty similar email here going out at that time. Next, if you haven't purchased yet, this goes out on day 2. They have the option here to save an extra $10 on your product. So they start doing something pretty interesting here, which is like doing a discount ladder. So they start with a $10 discount on top of the discounted bundle. And they've got a countdown timer worked into the email, which is really cool, creating urgency and, gets people to, I imagine, to click through.
Love it.
They've got the comparison here of their treatments versus in-clinic treatments. They're reiterating the $10 discount, and I think they're highlighting some additional products here. So this, I think, is probably from, just their generic welcome flow. They probably offer this to everyone who hasn't purchased within a certain time period.
Yeah, I noticed that while looking through the email flows that like if you don't go over the microinfusion bundle, they start cross-selling you into the LED face mask and so on.
You'll notice this is 12 hours later. They show you the same $10 discount email, but with more urgency. So they talk about this expiring in 12 hours. The countdown timer is now in red. So they're creating a little bit more urgency worked into this email. They lead with some social proof here and results that people have gotten before and after.
So they're just constantly reiterating a lot of those features and benefits from their landing pages.
Yeah, and they use so much social proof, right? So that's something really important to highlight. Now, this is on day 3 after 12 hours. So this is, I think, probably might be going out in the afternoon, and I'm not sure, but or just in the morning here on the next day. But they're getting more aggressive with their discounts. So now it's save $20 on top of the item that you had in the cart. And again, they've got urgency, baked into this with the red coloring around their countdown timer and in their banner here.
24 hours. And then again, they just kind of, you see, they're not afraid to be redundant, right? They're just like, if this is going to sell you, we're going to put it here again and again and again because we don't know what you remember when you finally do look at this email, right?
Yeah, or just like what it's going to take to kind of like, I guess, push you over
Yep.
to buying. Here they have another reminder for that $20 discount.
So that's the same day. Wow.
They've got a lot more copy in this one, and they're trying to overcome objections, right? So they're showing that they have free shipping on orders over $100. They've got a convenient pay later option, and that they're recommending that it's recommended by world leading dermatologists. So more social proof. They're bringing out all kinds of angles here in order to reduce those
Objections,
friction
yeah.
points and objections. All right, now this part's pretty interesting. So on day 7, if you haven't already purchased, you'll notice that they're promoting their quiz. So with their quiz, you can basically, I guess, like learn, what products or skin plan, is designed for you based on your skin goals. It looks like they communicate like having your own custom skincare roadmap. So for anyone who hasn't purchased, maybe like this can introduce them to the right products that might be a better fit for their needs. And they're offering an incentive to take the quiz, which is to get 25% off. I think that's a good idea as well, because a lot of brands will promote their quiz and not give you an incentive to go through it. And if they're going to collect lots of information and make the shopper go through a lot of different steps, if you give them a good reason, like getting 25% off, you're going to increase your quiz completion rate and the number of people that actually go through it.
Yeah, I think quizzes have a healthy friction in the sense that like you are getting a personalized bundle in front of the shopper that they know is truly personalized to them based off the answers to your questions, right? But you got to have some kind of carrot, to for them at the end there to go through that friction. So again, trying to keep the quiz super short, 3 to 5 questions, something like that, I think is a fine balance there. But if you have an incentive for them to go through it and then get that personalized recommendation, that's definitely going to be better.
I think another smart thing they're doing here is showing that it takes less than 60 seconds and you're going to get 3 top recommendations. I know they have this broken out in almost like bullet points, but these points here could also be broken out as bullet points. Imagine it saying, get top 3 recommendations, save 25% off, and takes less than 60 seconds. Like if someone's scanning and they see those 3 things, they might click through and actually go take that quiz as well.
I bet earlier in the brand's process of scaling up, I bet the quiz was probably more important and more pushed as they were kind of discovering what are the bundle offers that win, that hit,
Possibly.
right? It seems that they did find the bundle offers that hit, possibly due to that data that they collected from things like quizzes and all their order data. And then that's what they're pushing now.
Quizzes are super useful for doing that. Yeah, because you can present different types of bundle offers or present multiple products where people can build their own bundles, and then you get to see what products are selling well together, um, giving you insight into what bundles to create for your store. This next email continues to promote the quiz, but reinforces the 25% off. And they're creating a little bit of an incentive here around, or an urgency around it ending soon. So if you want to take advantage of that offer, then you got to take the quiz. Here they're using the bullet points, only took 60 seconds, get top 3 recommendations and 25% off. So I think that's a good design here.
Cool. So just reiterating a lot of the benefits there. So that's the end of the welcome flow email. Now, you say that this changes a bit with the summer sale, right?
Yes, yes. Real quick here, you'll see some of these text messages that go out alongside the welcome flow. Actually, this one's for the summer sale. Sorry, these actually are just for the summer sale. Yeah, you can see how they're asking a question, they're educating a bit about the product, and then leading with the offer.
You'll notice here, it looks like we actually did catch a bug in their SMS marketing. You'll see on the right side that there's a link that is incomplete. It looks like all the UTMs ended up getting in there, but not the actual link. So that's definitely something to fix. If you are limited in terms of the number of characters you're sending with a text message, keeping the link short, perhaps with fewer UTMs and all that stuff could help. But yeah, definitely want to QA and make sure your links are all working.
For sure. All right, next we got the summer sale abandonment flow. So this one's, we captured emails across an entire month, or actually, no, it was about 18 days. 18 days of emails. Let's go through some of these here. Some of them are, repeated throughout this flow at different points. So I think that they're, trying to just, if, in case you've missed it, use the same angle to get you to click through. So on day 0, they're promoting that your discount is here. And they highlight that 70% off the 6-month supply. They have a strong visual for their product being used. They sell the benefit in their button copy and continue to sell the benefits of their product. As you can see, it's like very much like a landing page, highlighting a lot of the different sections that would be included in their landing page. They're doing education in their email, social proof. Let's see here. I think more content actually got is shown here on the desktop version. When I imported it, I don't think it imported everything. So, okay. After 10 minutes, you get a abandonment email like this that shows the item and I believe like if you added it to cart, and they show 5 reasons why you should purchase this product.
I bet that because this summer sale is around this microinfusion bundle with a 6 month supply, I bet that they send you this even if you haven't added it to cart and you just put your email into the pop up. So it's more like a browse abandonment flow in that situation. Because not everyone gets to the cart and not everyone puts their email in the cart, but a lot more people do put their emails in the pop up. So if you could treat that as an abandonment flow, I think you'll end up with more reach with your follow ups.
I like that they link out to YouTube reviews, which is great. Again, also great design around the proof and how they use percentages here to show like their benefits and how like, their customers have like reported seeing results.
And it says here that's based on a third party survey.
Yep. They do a good job at creating urgency using these different banners and bars and countdown timers and things like that. And, a lot of brands I think are scared to use countdown timers and these types of like signals of urgency because they don't want to like mess with their brand aesthetic and, maybe it's too pushy. But, they're doing a great job of keeping a clean design while also being promotional and tying into how humans actually buy. A lot of humans are lazy and we wait to the last minute until, there's a forcing function that gets us to buy. And sometimes that is a sale ending or a discount, expiring.
On this note of, not cheapening the brand, I think it's cool to do all this stuff if you're trying to sell some expensive bundle, right? Like if
True.
you're upselling people to an expensive bundle and you have limited supply and that sale is going to expire, use the scarcity, use the urgency. You're trying to drive a big sale, right? But I understand like the resistance to like discounting a ton or doing all of this kind of direct response stuff when you're just selling a single SKU, right? In that case, I do think that cheapens your brand. But if you're upselling to large bundles, go for it, in my opinion.
So later in the flow, you're getting the same email again. So they've got like their morning, like the emails that go out in the morning emails that go out in the afternoon. As you can see, this email here, which goes out on day one, so this would be like the second day, is a repeated design, right? And they're educating with some different,
The same bullet points and the
different
same
creative here.
benefits. It's super redundant, but again, it looks redundant when you're like you've got this bird's eye view, right?
Right.
But in the context of day 2, hour 4 that you receive this email, that's all that you're seeing, right? And they're willing to use that content again and again and again, just in case if that's the message that converts you.
This has a nice design. This goes out on day 2. Um, And here you can see they're promoting their 70% off discount. Again, when I imported these designs, it like changes like how the button copy is laid out. So this is all like on one line, but you can get an idea of how this email is designed. Their comparison section, they've got this, well structured for email and for mobile. So again, just a lot of the points that you would see on the landing page, lots of social proof, lots of before and after, education on the product, they work into their emails. Okay, let's see here. Another abandonment email. So if we had that item in the cart, they're trying to drive us to checkout and they're using a social proof angle here to, highlight why dermatologists like their product, right? Which creates trust for the buyer.
What day is this?
This is going out on day 3.
Got it. Yeah, they really send you a lot of emails, but they clearly know that when you're in that window potentially purchasing, that's their chance. So they take their shot, right?
And they're linking out to the YouTube reviews, which is really cool, or TikTok reviews.
Okay.
later on, day 3, they use that, I think, a similar email that they used in the past, but they changed up the copy, similar creative, and now it's, they're answering questions to see if this product is right for you, right? So this is probably goes into the FAQ questions, but in a slightly different structure. They talk about how does it work, how fast can you see results. I think we actually remember reading some of these questions in the FAQ, but you can see how they're using that same content in their email copy here.
It's nearly like a listicle in their emails. So I think this is such a good example of, how far you could really push it with, email marketing in terms of like the content you're delivering and how often you're sending.
Yeah. Wish some of this content here loaded in. They're actually highlighting how Kim Kardashian, I think what was it? The facialist that worked on Kim Kardashian swore by their product. Um, yeah, this is a good email, but didn't pull in much content on this. Um, for for the wrinkle product, they're showing how like it's like a no Botox treatment for wrinkles. So again, they're just educating on the product. Remember, the bundle has 2 different products, so they're highlighting the different benefits of each of these further into their flow, and they're reminding people to take advantage of their summer sale offer, right?
I think that's such an interesting thing that they basically copy the, year-round welcome flow and they adapt it entirely for their seasonal sale here, which is for summer.
You can see here, similar email to what we saw before, but they're just bringing it back further into the flow. This is day 6. You're going to get this email if you haven't already purchased, where they just want to check in with you because they know you haven't purchased yet, and they want you to reply. I think here,
Or to share, it looks like. Yeah, but it says here to reply. Just hit reply and let me know what's on your mind.
so they want you to reply like 1, 2, 3, so that they can understand what your objection is.
I love that they're willing to use, this is a consumer brand. They're willing to use like low touch sales in their emails to just have those one-on-one, to kind of solicit those one-on-one combos to catch people that are truly on the fence.
Yeah, or maybe they're automating like the replies based on that keyword or something, which is kind of interesting. Ah, here's that Kim Kardashian email. So you can see the way they're using Kim Kardashian for social proof as well.
Apparently her facialist swears by Cure. Nice. That's a lot of emails. Very, very cool. What day are we on?
We are on now day 7. Don't have a lot of content in this one. Day 8,
Keeps
day
going.
9. You'll see that it's similar structure, similar emails. And then I think this email here, they're highlighting like what to expect before and after using their product. So a little bit more education on the product. This is a nice layout for this kind of like how it works. Um, email design. So
I love the next email because they completely switch it up.
yes. So here it's pretty personal. It's text only. This is how they close out their sale.
Day
It looks
18.
like it's coming from someone on their team on day 18. The subject line is last call, 48 hours to save $794 on microinfusion plus LED.
Wow.
So here they're actually bundling 2 different products, which weren't in that original offer, but they're going for it. And they close out that offer with this super sale.
This is a super sale. It's a last ditch effort. I mean, we've got like 12 months of treatments in there, plus the LED face light thing. This is for the person, the shopper that's, called the whale that's just going to spend all their money, but they think it's such a good deal. And I guess it is because of the timing and their inventory that they make it happen, right? And they put it in front of the shopper, and I bet it works.
Yep, it's like an irresistible offer.
And it's, signed by a customer success person, which is fascinating.
So there's Cure's funnel for their summer sale and for their microfusion infusion product. We've covered the ads, all the different traffic sources, the landing page, the upsells, the pop-up, and the flows, as all, every step all the way through checkout. They've got a great funnel. As John says, it's a masterclass in funnel building. Highly recommend you take some notes and take some ideas and apply them to your own funnel.
I think this is such a good example of you really want to learn the tricks of the trade, the tactics that are working. Study these 8-figure brands that are punching above their weight. The 9-figure brands, we love looking at them because, clearly are doing stuff that works. But once the brand is working really, really well, you don't have to do as much. But when you're hungry and you're scrappy and you're growing quickly to that next phase and you're becoming that brand, you're going to end up with the best types of funnels because it's going to be super dialed in. And that's what this is. Cure's funnel is absolutely dialed in.
Want all the templates from this funnel? Go to commerflow.com and get the funnel swipe file for free, where our team is collecting the top funnel designs we see driving today's fastest growing brands. If this episode got the ideas flowing for you, do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and remember to turn on notifications. It helps more brand builders and marketers like yourself find the funnel show. We've got more episodes on the way, so be on the lookout.